Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today I wanted to talk about Zenless Zone Zero. I did get into the closed beta too, so I thought I'd share my thoughts about Zenless and also talk about some of the things I've been floating around regarding the criticism regarding Zenless as well. Just gonna share all my thoughts with you guys, how I feel about the game. I recently just streamed it on my Twitch, so if you guys want to see me streaming more, and also if you enjoy videos like these, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, of course, to support the video as well. Now let's get straight into it. So I wanted to start off with what Zenless Zone Zero is, and I will say it definitely has similar aspects to our usual Hoyoverse games, but the gameplay itself is where everything kind of takes a different turn. So Zenless Zone Zero has more rogue-like systems where basically there are these TVs that you go through, and with these TVs you'll either encounter enemies or you'll get money or just a bunch of things can happen, and it's pretty similar in my opinion, kind of like to Swarm Disaster where you're going through the tiles in Swarm Disaster. So in Zenless, instead you do the TVs, which I know a lot of people have not been a fan of the TVs. I can understand why, since if you're going through empty TVs, it might feel really tedious to do this. But I will say if you are using controller, it isn't as bad, since if you hold down the analog stick, which I was playing on controller during my stream, and I usually play controller for most of my games as it is. So when you hold down on the analog stick, you kind of just zoom through those empty TVs rather than having to click on the TVs, for example, like with your mouse and keyboard. With the mouse, you'll have to click. So I can totally understand why people are iffy on the TV system. That's a major complaint I've seen a lot of people say, and also that they don't feel like the game will be right for them. Honestly, I feel like everyone should just try a game before they give their full judgment on the game. So like if you are in the beta, for instance, and you're really not feeling the game, then yeah, I can totally understand not willing or even wanting at all to give it a try because you've tried it out and it's just not your cup of tea. Usually I don't actually play games with a gameplay style like this at all. I'm a turn-based junkie at heart. I love turn-based games the most, and primarily storytelling games. So with this game, the combat is way different than what I usually play, but I will say I was having a bunch of fun, definitely a bunch of fun on stream as well. So I feel like this game can appeal to people who don't actually play these types of games typically, or people who do play these types of games as well can definitely enjoy something like this. I've seen some people compare it to other roguelike games, and I will say I'm a huge fan of Persona, so the city aspect of the game definitely gives me a Persona vibe, since you get to talk to other people in the city, you get to do commissions, which are like side missions in a sense. And of course, there's also the main story. So there's a good amount of stuff to do. And the city definitely feels alive, which I'm a huge fan of because I enjoy really good storytelling, or rather really good interactions between myself in the game and with NPCs, for example. So I'm a huge fan of the city for sure. I love the Persona-like vibe. If you like Persona, you're likely gonna like this aspect as well. So I'm a huge fan of that. And then when it comes to the combat, as I said, I usually don't play games like these. So I was a little worried I might not be a fan of it, but it's honestly really fun. Now, I'm not the biggest on knowing exactly how to do every single combo. I love figuring that out as I go. And I think that's one of the things that's really charming about the game is that you can figure out cool combinations with characters as you play the game, or figuring out how to actually play these characters to a really good level. And what I mean by this is I actually got my first S rank. She's currently on screen, and she works with a character named Ben, and Ben is this big bear character, and they actually have a special ultimate together, and she has like special combos in a way when you have Ben on the team. So this is actually really cool. It allows you to have a lot of fun with like character combos. I don't know how many characters actually have like a little special thing if you include another character on the team, but this character in particular has that, and I did get lucky enough to pull her, and I knew nothing about her, but when I saw that in her kit, I was definitely really excited to try it out. So I feel like Zenless will have a lot of interesting things when it comes to team building, and I've noticed a few things where it comes to what type of character you have, what element they are, and a bunch of stuff like that. There are status effects in the game that you could inflict on the enemy, so you can have fun with that. And I feel like the game is really fun because it's also really active. And what I mean by this is you're constantly basically fighting when you are in combat. When you're in combat, the enemies will go towards you, trying to attack you, of course. So the game has dodges, the game has swaps with other characters. There's just so much in this game that you can do, like, I guess, within combat that definitely makes it a lot of fun. So I think when it comes to combat, if you are liking what you're seeing on screen right now, then I'm sure you'll enjoy the combat aspects of the game. And the game also has, I would say, a good amount of dialogue when it comes to the story. A lot of it is a comic book like style. Of course, I'm not going to spoil the story for you guys, but it's a comic book like style. So I like that aesthetic a lot. And I think it's a really nice vibe for the game. The game definitely feels a bit more mature than other Hoyoverse games. But I think that's really cool because we get to see a new IP and just new characters in general, new personalities. So I'm a huge fan so far of this game. And when it comes to the similarities of the game, it appears like the game will have a sort of relic-like system from what we've seen so far in CBT2. And it looks like it'll be like these CDs that circle around this main CD in the middle. You can upgrade your characters' skills and make them stronger with materials similar to like how traces are in Star Rail, and you can just upgrade your characters that way. You can level them up. You could definitely work on your character and build them up to what you want to build them up to. And I'm not sure on the exact ways you'll want to build X character or whatever, since, it is in closed beta 2. This is my first time trying it, but I feel like experimenting with builds will be pretty fun as well. So if you're into building characters, I think that could be a nice touch for you. And overall, I always feel like people should try a game before they knock it. I totally understand the complaints when it comes to the game, but so far I will say I've been having a lot of fun with the game. I definitely enjoy the graphics. The story so far has been pretty funny at moments and also been pretty interesting because I am curious as to know more within the story and understand the characters' personalities a bit more. The gameplay is super fun, and if you enjoy really active gameplay where you are dodging, where you're swapping between characters, where you're gaining enough energy to use your ultimate, where you're doing a bunch of stuff within combat, I think you'll like this game a lot. And I would definitely recommend to try it if you are even slightly interested in it. If you're not interested, I totally get it. It happens. Not every game is meant for everyone, and that's totally fine. I didn't know if I would fully enjoy the game until I played it, but I will tell you guys, I'm definitely having a blast with this game. Super fun. I will be releasing like a full review once, of course, I play the game way more, so I can give you like the nitty-gritty details. But for my first impressions and thoughts, do I enjoy the game? Absolutely. Do I recommend you possibly try it once it releases? Yes, I would say so far. I think if once again you're interested in this kind of game, I think you should go for it. And before you fully judge the game or knock it off the table of not wanting to play the game, I think you should give it a shot. I will also say I feel like the game has a lot of potential to become more difficult, nearing more endgame aspects, because I feel like if the enemies are really difficult to deal with, or possibly they stun you way more, whatever it may be, there are definitely a lot of ways to make this game very challenging, which I think can be really nice to have challenging modes within this game, especially with how the playstyle is. I would like that a lot. I'm not the greatest at, dodging usually, because I've played games like Dark Souls before, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty bad at Dark Souls. I'm not good at that game. I think it's really fun to play those types of games though, because it's different and it also allows for a fun challenge. And I'm not saying Zenless is like Dark Souls hard. I'm not at that point where I can say that, but I will say I could definitely see this game having a lot of endgame potential as well. So if you are interested in possible endgame, more catering towards endgame, I could see this game definitely catering towards that as well. But I'll let you guys know once I get pretty far in the beta how difficult it actually gets. Because in the beginning of the beta, it's not too bad. It's pretty simple for the most part. But that's typically how it is with a good amount of games, is that it's not usually super hard right away, but then like it progressively gets harder. And I know some games are an exception to this, but from my personal experience from playing multiple games, it just progressively gets harder. Even with turn-based games, it progressively gets harder. So I can see this game having a lot of potential, and let me know what you guys think about this game. Do you guys think that Zenless has, I guess, a bright future? Do you guys think that it just doesn't look too appealing? Or are you guys super excited for this game? Like the same way I'm excited for this game. I would love to know what you guys think about Zenless Zone Zero. If you have any questions about the game, let me know in the comments down below because I'll try my best to answer all the questions I can. You can also join the Discord if you want to ask questions as well, or know when I upload videos or stream even more consistently. So that's a thing as well. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe, of course, leave a like to support the video, and I hope all of you have a great one. Peace.